in Western North. Thank you so much for your time this morning. This is Good Morning Africa. This is the newspaper review segment where we, discuss issues that titillate, issues that excite you, issues that tickle your fancy, issues that border on the development and growth of our country, Ghana. Here are the topics that we have tabled for today's conversation. Let me quickly run you through. African story: 86 killed in Nigerian tanker explosion. Also, President Mahama makes new appointments to the presidency. 135 billion Ghana cedi debt hangs over road sector. Minister designate reveals. And also another story from yesterday's ministerial vetting. Free SHS will be reviewed, strengthened, and admission fees of first-year students refunded under no fee stress NDC policy. This is coming from the Minister for Education designate Haruna Idrisu, and so all of these fallouts from yesterday's vetting in Parliament will be discussed here on the show. Your thoughts matter. I always say your thoughts do matter here on Good Morning Africa, so feel free to share them with us. Text lines very active, as you can see displayed on your screens. 055-9919-802, 055-9919-802. Share your thoughts with me. Also, alternatively, we are streaming live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Pan-African Television. Send in your messages, comment, share, so that others can also join in the conversation. We are streaming live on YouTube, so if your Facebook isn't working, alternatively, you can reach us out on YouTube. I've been joined this morning by Madame Rodelyn Ayana of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Madam, good morning. It's our first time meeting this year. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
You've enjoyed the Yuletide season.
Yes,
New Year as well.
Yeah, New Year as well. It's been good.
It's been good.
Yeah, it's like a new beginning for this country. So I guess we are all excited.
Right. Gabriela Tete of the NDC should be joining us shortly. I've spoken to her. She's on her way. Very soon should join the conversation. But I would start regardless. Once she joins, she would pick it up from there. We are starting our African story. We go to Africa's most populous country, Nigeria for that matter. There's an unfortunate incident where a fuel tanker explosion has killed 86 people and injured dozens. The country's national emergency has revealed the blast happened in the early hours of Saturday near the Suleja transfer gasoline from one tanker into another truck using a generator. The final death toll from the tanker explosion is 86, said Ibrahim Audu Husseini, who is a spokesperson for the National Emergency Management Agency in Niger State. We buried 86 burnt corpses between noon yesterday and 2 a.m. today. He said, updating an earlier toll of 70, it took us 14 hours to bury the bodies because we couldn't get excavators and had to get locals, I beg your pardon, to dig the mass grave manually. He said 52 other people suffered severe burns from the explosion. The National Emergency Management Authority had earlier said in a statement that 15 shops had been destroyed in the explosion. Kuma Chukwam, a sector commander for Niger State with the Federal Road Safety Corps, said that people rushed to scoop up the spilled petrol after the truck overturned. The tanker burst into flames, engulfing another tanker, he said in a statement. I cannot for the life of me understand why we never learn when it comes to these things. Whenever there's a tanker explosion and people decide that they would want to take advantage of the situation, scoop the fuel,
In all manner of containers.
yeah, and go sell it.
They don't listen.
And people have lost their lives as a result. Interestingly, there are precedents. It's not the first time that we are hearing of a blast. People attempt to scoop, fuel, and then they die as a result. There have been precedent that this is the consequence for doing this, but people continue regardless. I don't understand why such foolhardy decisions will be made by people. If you do value your life, I don't think you'd want to do this. Let me read the concluding part of the story. Most of the victims were burnt beyond recognition. Chukwam said, we are the scene to clear things up, adding that firefighters had managed to put out the fire. Mohamed Bago, the Niger governor, confirmed the incident in a statement and said that many people are believed to have perished in a huge fire caused by the tanker explosion. He described the incident as worrisome, heartbreaking, and unfortunate. Such accidents have become common in Africa's largest oil producer, killing dozens of people in the country, grappling with its worst cost of living crisis in a generation. This is the entire story as reported in today's edition of the Daily Graphic newspaper, page 5. It's an Al Jazeera story, so credit is given to Al Jazeera as well for the story. But I was making some earlier, comments on why people would still, regardless of the dire ramifications, people would still, want to engage in such dangerous, very dangerous enterprise where there's a blast. Of course, there's fuel. Then they want to take advantage of the situation and scoop the remnants and then go sell. And more often than not, the consequences have been devastating, oftentimes, resulting in death. Let me take the thoughts of my guest, Auntie Odeline Ayana, on this very disturbing, worrisome, issue.
Well, good morning to our cherished viewers. And good morning to you as well. I think I was away for quite a while, for a bit, so I wasn't here for the inauguration of the president, so I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for his becoming president of this country, and to all who have helped this to happen, and to the people of Ghana too, I say congratulations, we've all done well. It's unfortunate that this should happen, but it's happening every time.
Yeah.
It happens in Ghana as well. So one would just say that it seems that people don't learn, because most of the time when these things happen, we educate. You get the media coming out to speak about it. People do know about it, but somehow they think they are smarter. Every time I'm more intelligent. So as soon as it happens, like even on our own roads, when tankers overturn and people just go out there with buckets, with everything to collect, even when you advise them that it's not safe, they still go. But you have to ask yourself, with the Niger issue, you see, for a country that actually deals in fuel, tankers move all the time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this is a country that also uses generators.
Yeah.
Everyone is using a generator.
Yeah.
I'm just coming from around there as well, and it's like the cost of fuel has gone up tremendously, and I think that the people themselves are feeling the pinch. So with this thing happening, everybody felt that this was an opportunity to get a gallon or two for your generator. But we should ask ourselves, those who drive the tankers, because this was supposed to be removing fuel from one tanker into another tanker by individuals. That means they were stealing fuel, maybe, because I don't think that was the correct way to go, by using a generator close to a fuel pump. You understand? There was a generator close to the fuel pump. That was what caused this. So if you are well versed in the transportation of fuel, you would know that you can't have a generator next to a fuel pump.
Yeah.
You understand? Even for us in this country, when you get to filling stations, you're told to switch off your phones.
Yeah.
But we find ourselves, all of us are guilty, making calls, receiving calls, because it's not happened to us. These are the things. But I think that we need more education. More safety measures also should be put in place for such situations. But it's left to the people themselves to educate themselves and to also at least try and save themselves from such situations. I was watching it yesterday. People would go fetch and still stand around. They were not even running. More people were coming. And then there were still people there who would go, and instead of being satisfied with what they had, they were still standing around. Now, 86 people, or is it 98 people perishing, burnt beyond recognition, buried in a mass grave. you don't probably know even the identities of those people. So your person might just be passing by or whatever, and it's buried underneath there, and you don't even know. These are very, very sad situations, and I think that we should, as a matter of urgency, advise ourselves and continuously punish people who we find close to such things. Don't think that if you get to a place that a tanker has had an accident or whatever, and people are scooping the fuel, please arrest those people. We should be able to arrest those people. Because if we don't do those things to serve as a deterrent to other people, because it looks like people don't want to take their lives into their own hands. They always want people to show them how to do it. So you arrest them. And when you punish them, the next time there is an accident, they might not even go close by. Those are some of the things. But it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It happens in Ghana as well, and everywhere. And it's not just the tanker. When you look at the fires that we are having, Kantamanto, up to date, we don't know what caused it. And we know that even with those ones, you tell them don't cook, don't do this, and people still do it. You understand? In the northern parts of this country, when it's Hamatan, someone will be smoking a cigarette and just drop it, and it will cause a fire. You're told don't burn fires. If you're burning, at least, bother around it to stop it from spreading. People don't do it. It's because somehow we always feel like it's not important, it's not necessary. But these are things that we should all take cognizance of and look after ourselves to avoid us meeting such things.
Should we also not be looking at the means of transportation
Of the tankers?
Yes, of the tankers. It appears, and this is my personal opinion, it appears that we haven't made any form of progress when it comes to transportation and employing safety. If you are transporting fuel, and I don't know how possible that is. Are there not other ways to transport, fuel other than using the tankers? Are there not safer means? Could it be possible to transport fuel by rail? Is that a possibility?
Yes,
I mean the pipelines and everything,
yes,
rather than the conventional, tankers that we always use.
I guess there are so many ways. I remember sometime in this country, fuel tankers were not supposed to be seen on the roads at a certain time. They were allowed to be transported within a certain time. You understand? And there was even a situation where it was like feeder roads were created for those tankers. I'm trying to remember the exact years, but it's escaped me. But there was a time that we didn't need to see fuel tankers on our roads with our little vehicles. But today in Accra, anywhere you're actually close to a fuel tanker. Maybe sometimes 2, 3, 4. If you're on that stretch of the motorway road,
you
find
see so
them.
many of them.
You see so many of them in broad daylight. And sometimes you look at their tires and you see that these are completely worn out tires, but they are under a fuel tanker. And what do? It's the duty of the police to actually look at these things, but they don't. You understand? But we must find a way. Either we regulate the timings and say that you can only transport fuel between this time and that time, and not be seen in the city center. Maybe that can help us, because as it is now, we don't have the rail system to be able to take that kind of cargo, and we are not in a situation where we have a piping system where we can say our fuel is going to go underground and that we don't have it. So the only other way is to give them a regulated time for them to be able to move their fuel. I think that would help us. Because if you've ever experienced, I had a nasty experience of on the Kumasi Road, where I was standing and the car just behind me was hit by a fuel tanker. That was my first time. And since then, when I see a fuel tanker, I'm miles away.
You're miles away.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'm looking at the drivers of these tankers, the sort of professionalism that they are supposed to exhibit. When was that? Somewhere last month, and I'm talking about December of last year. In the dying embers, should be around 20-something December. I live at McCarthy, okay, just before the Akaway Hospital, the Wager Hospital. There's this fuel tanker that was moving towards Kaswa, and I don't know what happened. Just diverted into the.
He was sleeping.
He
was sleeping.
And it wasn't like it was daylight. He just diverted into the other route from the Kaswa to Accra section of the road. He was from the Accra to Kaswa, and he just diverted. And it's not as if it's just it's just a road. It's just flat surface. There's a barricade. There's a little barricade.
Okay.
He went through the barricade and crossed the other road like that. Fortunately, there weren't any oncoming vehicles at the time. I don't
Save
know.
the situation.
So if there was an onrushing vehicle, you would have just run into. And as soon as it happened, he just alighted from the car and bolted off.
Yeah.
He ran away.
Probably doesn't have a license. That's our problem. It's regulation.
So these drivers, and I mean, if they really do qualify to handle these
they're not qualified.
heavy vehicles.
A lot of the accidents we are having is because the drivers that are behind the steering wheel are not qualified. Growing up, you could, if you saw a mommy truck driver, the person was well built, looking solid, and you know that this person is able to handle this vehicle. We've come to the time of automation, so everything is like soft speed and everything. So people think that anybody at all can just drive anything, and you sometimes look up and see a driver of a huge vehicle, and the person is a teeny weeny somebody, probably sitting on a pillow or something, and we think it's okay. You understand? Our police are not helping us. MTTU are not helping us. These are things that they must be checking. The driver will stop and give the car to a planque, and the planque will go and throw the people away. We are not talking. You understand? So I agree. Most of these drivers, most of these accidents, because they are sleeping. Either they are sleeping, or these days, even with the saloon cars, people are on the phone and driving. How can you be? Your attention is diverted from the road onto your phone. And all these things, we have to check them and make sure that we punish people who do those things, because I know that you're not supposed to be driving and speaking on the phone, but we are seeing it all the time. And then you are behind someone, the person is practically crawling and kind of like zigzagging on the road, and you manage to pass by and you say that the person is on the phone and go off in a deep conversation. Some are even on TikTok. How can you do that? That kind of irresponsibility and indiscipline we must be able to curb if we have to move on as a country.
Right. Away from that, like earlier stated, your thoughts do matter on this show, so let me know what you think. But also very important, let me know where you're watching the show from. I know we have quite a number of viewers from northern Ghana. Those of you watching us from the northeast region, I received several messages from you, Kugona, Nalerigu, Gambaga, Sammene, Timpila, Wundua, Langbinsi. Yes, I know the place. Chiana Paga. That is easy. Is in I think the northeast region. Yep. Chiana Paga should be in the upper east region. Chiana Paga. Chiana Paga. Yes. Chiana Paga should be in the upper east. In the upper east region, I know about that. Except that I've had a little experience over there. The road is not good. I'm hoping that this government would try and fix the roads that lead to Chiana Paga. Very terrible, very, very terrible. Could spend 2 hours moving from more than 2 hours moving from Bogatanga to Chiana Paga. Something that should take you about an hour. You spend like you spend over 2 hours on very terrible roads. But shout to all of you. Many thanks for tuning in. Let me know where you're watching the show from. I'll be more than pleased to read your text in the course of our conversation. Let's move away from that. Yesterday, during the ministerial vetting, some startling revelations came to bear. Very, very startling, and I'll start with that of the Roads and Highways Minister designate, Honorable Abuja Government, and some of the things he revealed as far as the erstwhile NPP administration is concerned, and their management of the road sector. Let me read something to you that may startle you. The past government left behind a 135 billion Ghana cedi debt in the road sector. The Roads and Highways Minister designate Kwame Govins-Agbodza has told the Appointment Committee of Parliament. He said the amount comprised a 100 billion Ghana cedis commitment debt, 20 billion Ghana cedis for unpaid certificates for roads executed to be paid by the government of Ghana, and 15 billion Ghana cedi certificates at the road fund. In 2018, this is where it gets very interesting. In 2018, the government was owing about 113 million Ghana cedis, and the interest on the 113 million Ghana cedis this year will be 665 million Ghana cedis. So you owe 113 million. 113 million, and this year in 2025 the interest that has been accrued on the 113 million is about times 5 or perhaps even times 6 of what is originally owed. 665 million Ghana cedis. Now the story continues to say that commitment refers to having to put the contract sums together and budget to finance them. However, the debt is what is due to be paid as a result of certificates cleared by third-party consultants or agencies such as the Department of Feeder Roads or Urban Roads. The government is required to write checks or transfer money to contractors for work done. Now, if you would recall, when this government took over in 2017, I think what they told Ghanaians that the debt that had been left behind as far as the road sector was concerned was around 117 million Ghana cedis at the time. 2017, 117 million. Now they are leaving us with 135 billion. 135 billion. Look at the difference. Interesting. I mean, another interesting revelation that came out from the vetting was the fact that every Dick, Tom and Harry here in Ghana has heard the roads, the former roads minister Amakwata and the president. The president was in Parliament. Yes, State of the Nation address, telling us that some 11,000 kilometers of road had been constructed. Now, it also came to bear yesterday that that wasn't true, and that only a paltry, and I'm saying a paltry because if you look at 11,000 kilometers and you look at the figures that we are being given, 11,000 kilometers, no, 685, not even 1,000, 685 kilometers of road was like constructed. The rest was just re-graveling that they did, and that's what they added, and then they came by that 11,000 kilometers.
Re-graveling.
Yes,
and all that.
11,000 kilometers of road. He said, Mr. Agbodza pointed out that in 2018 the government owed about 130 million Ghana cedis. 130 million Ghana cedis, but the interest on that amount this year would be 665 million. In 2019, the indebtedness was 219 million, and the interest on this was 960 million.
Which bank are we dealing with? What's the interest?
And in 2020, we were owing 424 million, and the interest on this is 1.5 billion, more than times 3. In 2021, the debt was 616 million, and the interest on that is currently 1.69 billion. And in 2022, the debt was 693 million, and the interest is currently 1.4 billion. So it's a long one, but
so we are taking loans out to build the roads.
Yes,
Probably the interest is about 40%.
Yes,
probably.
Yes.
For a government to go out and pick up a loan with that kind of interest, there must be questions answered. I think we must have a shout out to all road contractors, complete vetting system for the road contractors. for us to get closure as to what happened. Because I think I was listening to the minority leader as well, who also brought out this issue about a road being done, and less than 6 months it had to be redone again.
Yeah.
And then after another short while it had to be redone again. So one road 3 times.
Yeah.
And all those ones came with different monies. So I'm looking at a situation where I've always had a problem with roads, to be honest with you. I think that we are being shortchanged by our road contractors, and it didn't start today. It's something that I think it's kind of a kitty bag for a lot of these our road contractors. I'm also of the view that it's because some of those roads are also pre-financed by some of these contractors. So they just give out any amount at all. You owe me this. From the grapevine, you also hear that whenever road contracts are giving, certain other things are attached to it. I'm giving you this road contract, I expect a house from it. This is my sites. So we don't get the good quality road that we want. I did a research once, and I found that 1 kilometer of asphalt in South Africa is almost half what we charge, more than that, twice that amount for 1 kilometer in Ghana, and I'm asking why. Are you getting me? So it's like Ghanaians have been shortchanged for so long by all these contractors. And that is why I have always believed that we should bring back and make sure that the Public Works Department, the PWD that we had, works. You're talking about bad roads from China Paga and whatnot. Do you know that at one time you used to have a maintenance vehicle on the Techiman to Bolgatanga road, patching potholes? They go in the morning and they patch. They continue patching all the potholes. That's maintenance. We stopped. We don't do that anymore. So you go and do a road, a very, very bad road. You do a road today, within a week, part of it is sinking, part of it has got potholes, and nobody's talking about it. I think that it's time for us to actually do an audit on these roads. Let's get the roads. Let's do a proper audit. Someone was teaching me or educating me about the way they do the road construction. And he says, look, when the contractor is given a contract and the asphalt height is maybe like this, the contract sum is different. Once the person gets on the road, the person does this amount of asphalt. And the politician is willing to let go because of that 10%. So at what point are we going to blame even the contractor? And somebody even once suggested that maybe we should start naming roads by the contractor, so that when it's bad, they'll know that it is Esimesi who did this road and it is bad. Oswald, I think, is the one that is doing most of the roads internally in Accra. At least in my area, I know that they are around there. What I have seen on the Otano School Junction Road when it was being done, I was impressed with it. But I was impressed because probably he has a quarry. So he was bringing these boulders and actually trying to do a good job. But I am told that he pre-finances those things by himself. So if he is going out there to collect loans, you understand, and you are not paying the loans, by all means, this is the kind of interest we are going to have. And then we have the Chinese, who will also come and collect road contracts. We don't know what happens. So I think that as Ghanaians, we should begin to question. I have had an opportunity to question a road contractor because I saw him grade the road. The next day he put on the bitumen. It was 23rd December. By 24th, it was done. And I approached him. I said, I know you want your certificate for Christmas, but remember that you will come back and do this road because this is not how it's supposed to be. Yeah. You understand? And it was like we had a laugh, but he came back because I told him, I said, I'll come back here. It's my road. I use it all the time, and I have seen how you've done it. You've not done a good job. This is how we should all approach things. Let us begin to be interested in what happens around us. You see the IPS road, there was a drain made along the IPS road. Beautiful drain. The next time I saw, there was a road and they had covered the drain. Double payments. Why make the drain when you know that there's going to be that kind of a road that's going to cover the drain? But because somebody had to take money for the drains, it had been done. The person has been paid, and then another person is given a road, and then it's covered. Are you getting me? Then you get the floods we don't understand. And I heard them talking about open drains. I think it was Honorable Patricia PJ, who brought up this issue of our roads and the open drains. Some of the roads, you see, they call them something, I've forgotten, just the sides of the roads. They are supposed the shoulders of the roads. They are supposed to make sure that those shoulders are well done for pedestrians and other motor users to use them. But what do? When they finish, they just leave it. They leave it. So we have a problem with the construction of our roads, and for us to be able to go deeper into it, we must do some form of audit to find out the 11,000 or so that was told us kilometers. It's probably something that has been hyped, which we have now found out. So which of the roads are we going to be taking out as having been done, and how much did we pay? Because by all means, certain figures were against those roads. Do you understand what I'm saying? We were told that probably this place to this place has been done. Somebody has pocketed the money and the road has not been done. So we must audit to find out which roads were done, how much was paid, and if those roads are things that are really important. Because sometimes you find roads being given on contracts, and it's supposed to be from Pan Africa TV to the junction there, and some big man comes and says the road to my house is not good. They leave the Pan Africa TV one that has been budgeted for, and then go and do for another politician, you know, or a politically exposed person's house. So I think we need to do some form of investigations. We need to audit, and we need to punish. We need to let people pay back, because after all, when they take these monies, it's for them. They have to pay back. But I'm glad that we have this thing, the drip, is it?
District whatever.
District whatever.
Yeah.
If it's going to work, even though there are so many stories also surrounding that it's on high pitches and all sorts of things. But if it belongs to government, then I think that we should be able to use those ones to keep our roads in good shape, at least around the districts. Because you see, if you look at our accommodation problems, if only we had good roads, more people would want to build in other areas, and the prices of rent might come down. You understand? But because sometimes the roads are so bad, people don't even want to go and stay there. You understand? And things like that. So I think that with the drip, if it's going to be something that we can use, let's use it and get inner city roads all over the country done. Inner city roads.
I think in the run up to the elections, we saw.
Oh yes, I was lucky. I benefited from my road being done. I was really happy.
I was at Kwabenya, so that
inner city roads
of Kwabenya.
Even though it
was shabbily done.
I can see it.
It rains and then
beginning to look some way, and I'm sure when the rains come, we are going to have problems. But at least it's better than the way it was before.
Exactly.
So we are expecting that the district assemblies, when we get our municipal chief executives and the district chief executives, they will handle the equipment well, and then make sure that inner city roads are seen to. Because once the whole place looks beautiful and things, people will be encouraged to help government with accommodation.
Right. If you're just joining us, this is the morning show. This is the Tuesday edition of Good Morning Africa live here on Pan African Television. We've already shared our thoughts on happenings in Nigeria, where some 86 persons have been killed as a result of a fuel tanker blast. And then currently we are looking at yesterday's ministerial vetting at the Appointment Committee of Parliament, where Honorable Agboja governs, the Minister for Roads and Highways designate. He was grilled by the appointment committee of parliament. So we are looking at the fallout, and we have learned that just a paltry 635 kilometers of road was constructed by the Eswal administration, and not the 11,000 kilometers that the former president Koku touted when he appeared on the floor of parliament delivering the State of the Nation's address. And I remember vividly when he said that they had constructed 11,000 kilometers. I think he did this. He did this. I don't know. Perhaps it was to tell us that it was Awam. So I mean, it was for and it was me. It was Awam. But Gabriela has just joined us after going through all the traffic wahala in Accra. Yes. Gabi, good morning.
Morning.
Happy New Year. Have we met this year? No.
I don't know.
We haven't. We haven't.
No, I don't think so.
We haven't.
Really?
We haven't. We haven't met this year. We haven't met this year.
No, I think we met.
We haven't.
Well, I wasn't here last week.
Okay.
And 2 weeks ago.
And I wasn't here 2 weeks ago.
I think we met.
So maybe 3 weeks ago.
It was either December.
After the election. After the elections.
Yeah, it was after the elections. It was after, but it wasn't this year.
Yeah,
it wasn't this year.
Okay, then Happy New Year to both of you.
Many happy returns. We are looking at the road situation. I'm sure, of course, yesterday you watched the ministerial vetting. Honorable Governor Agboja brought out some very, startling revelations as far as the Eswal administration is concerned and how they managed our road sector. And I was talking about the number of kilometers that they claimed to have done and what the reality, is according to Honorable Governor Agboja. Where have these monies gone to? And also we are looking at the disparity in the loans taken and the interest that have been accrued. So 113 million Ghana cedis, and in 2018, and today we are supposed to pay about 635 million Ghana cedis. Why is that? Where have all these monies gone to? Do you have any idea?
Let me say good morning to you. Sorry I'm coming in late. I had to grant a lot of interviews this morning so that I could be free to come. And unfortunately, the interviews just, when they get you on the phone, they just don't want to let you go. So it was difficult for me to just cut the call and run off. So apologies for coming in late. And then this morning, for some strange reason, the lioness in me is refusing to calm down. So people should just bear with me that this morning, for some strange reason, my head doesn't want to behave. The roads issue, bless, I'm not surprised. I knew when we were going for the elections, the mess that the NPP had led for whoever was going to be president. And even in my own region, when I saw the state of development in Central region and all the 8 years that the NPP came to make so many promises and how the reality, which I saw every single day when I moved around the region, was so glaring to me that there's a problem. There's a big problem and there's a big mess. Because when you hear of how much government has borrowed, and then you ask yourself, so Central region, where's our share of all this, the so-called national cake? Where's our share? They'll come and do sword cutting, a road that, it wasn't a bad road, probably has some few potholes, but then they'll just come and grade the whole road to show us that they're coming to do the road. And then, bless, they abandoned the road 2 years, 3 years, and we are left with miserable roads. And it's all over the region. It is all over the region. This, I'm speaking for my region. The country, I don't want to think about other level. Let those who have the capacity to think that deep. I don't want to kill myself. I'm young. So yes, I see how things are in Central region specifically, and I know that there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. And for somebody who has observed governance over a period, I knew for a fact that there was something deceitful about the NPP administration and Nana Akufo-Addo. And unfortunately for Nana Akufo-Addo as a president, he, for some reason, was lost in a certain cloud where he believed everything that his people were saying to him. So we know when you're making reference about when he went to give the State of the Nation's address and was talking about the roads and said people should open their eyes. If he was really moving across this country, and if he really had a tally of the roads that he has signed, or his ministers have signed on his behalf, that they were constructing, and the actual state of those roads, he would have called all those ministers to give account to him in Jubilee House before he even handed over to His Excellency John Mahama. You go to Autu all the time, so you've seen the Kasuas Road. I was listening to it yesterday.
I only returned on Sunday. I was in Senyang.
I was listening to the vetting yesterday, and I took force our leader, not just majority leader, one of our big politicians in Central Region, was asking questions about that particular road. It's very important to us because that is the road that connects us to Greater Accra.
Yeah.
Look at the state it's in.
Terrible.
And every single day, I observed, every single day, they are very religious in watering the road.
Yeah.
So that should tell you that there's resources going into the road, but it is only for watering. And the actual construction, you don't know when exactly the proper construction is actually taking place. If you go from Winneba...
Is it the ECOWAS route?
The ECOWAS route.
So, okay, so... And if it's the ECOWAS route, we understand that there's already funding for it, some $200 billion. Where is it going to? Where?
I'm coming there. Let me finish my roads in my region. Then I'll come and tell you where the money went. When you take the Winneba to Swedro Road, that road connects us to Swedro to Bodjasu to Eastern Region, into Ashanti region, if you want to go into that direction. Another very important road. Go and see the state of it. For 3 years, they graded the road, lied to the people that they are coming to fix the road. Terrible road. And the one that pays me is the road that goes from Chifopraso to Upper Dentre East. Bless. You've seen those deep crevices they've done on the Kasua Road, eh?
Yeah.
When you go on that road, half the road is a crevice. And that particular road, the soil there is clay.
Yeah.
So when it rains, the road becomes slippery.
Yeah.
And it is so frightening when you are driving, when you are four-wheel drive, and you are driving on that road, quite a stretch, with a pit on your side. If you make a mistake and God is not with you, and you slip, you are finished. And I every time I travel on this road, I'm like, so this thing, is it wickedness, or it is stupidity, or it's foolishness, or why? Why? Or he's never traveled on those roads, so he doesn't see what happens in those places. So for me, from the onset, when we were going into the election last year, I knew that, in fact, what has been left in this country, Ajinyame. But I thank God that we have new leadership. And we have new leadership in somebody who has already experienced governance before and has sat back and realized and seen and studied Akufo-Addo's administration, and has seen that surely Ghana deserves better than what we had experienced in the past. You ask me, where did the money go? That's a very good question. The same Akufo-Addo government mismanaged our currency. So when you go and take a loan of $120 million to do a road, and you don't do the road, project management timelines, inflation will catch you, depreciation will catch you.
You need more money to...
You need more money to construct the road. And now because you don't have the full funding, you do any shoddy job, and that is the end. The road is uncompleted. The debt is still there. The people did not benefit. Somebody has to pay the loan. Interest is accruing. The debt keeps increasing. And who do you blame? There was a president, Akufo-Addo. He brought the governor there. When we were complaining about the governor's competence and how he was managing the currency, what did they tell us? Oh, we have other ways of managing the currency. We have gold for oil. We have this for this. We have that for that. And yet, the problem was not being solved. Today, listening to Honorable Agboja, he says the debt in the road sector alone is even more than the budget for a year. All these people, all this money is there. They are contractors who took workers, have to be paid. They hired equipment, have to be paid. They have all kinds of expenses. They took loans from the banks. Those banks are also charging interest. So it's the way that the whole government structure, the whole government ecosystem was going in that 8 years. And sometimes when you go for Akufo-Addo, people are like, you is disrespectful, or you don't respect leaders, or it is nothing like that. It has nothing to do with personalities. It's about how the thing is done and why you have to pay attention and be present in the situation. And every day when I pray, and I pray for this country, I always pray for one thing for Mahama, that he will always be present in mind and in thought. Because the day he also loses guard, lets his guard down, and allows the environment around him to dictate and not listen to what really is on the ground, how are we going to move forward? My roads need to be constructed, because I've gone campaigning. I've made promises in Central Region. In fact, the promise is crappled here. I can mention the roads. I said from Pedi Junction all the way to this road I'm talking about in Upper Danger East. That whole stretch. I promised Yamrasa to Kumasi. Thankfully, Asimfosu to Ashanti Region is done. So now between Yamrasa Junction to Asimfosu.
I know Yamrasa to Asim. I've used that stretch. I know that.
Another bad road.
Yeah.
It has to be fixed, because that is the road that connects us to Ashanti Region.
Yeah.
The Winnipeg and Swedro Road has to be done. Swedro to Mankesim Road has to be done, because there's another link that goes there to Eastern Region. So our major roads in Central Region have to be done. We can't go and tell the people of Central Region that when we came, there was a debt of so much, and so we couldn't do anything. Then 2028, we are in trouble. Because what are they going to stand on to vote for us? So we can't give excuses. And I'm very sure, and I know for a fact, that His Excellency knows what he's about. Last Saturday when I came and I spoke about appointment. Have you done the topic on appointment?
Not yet.
And I spoke about appointment.
Somebody picked it
and I criticized only one appointment. All hell broke loose. They didn't see the 17 or how many others I praised. Only that one that I criticized, all hell broke loose. But I will not shy away from speaking the truth to whoever is destined to hear that truth, that we've made promises. And in Central Region, we'll definitely go back 2028.
And go and account.
And go and account and go and plead. So how the job will be easier or difficult for us going into 2028 is dependent on the decisions that we take today. And so I know very well that His Excellency, he knows how to find funding for this. He knows how to restructure debt. He knows how to raise equity. He knows things like public-private partnerships in roads. And Anabu Agboja also mentioned that the tolls are coming back.
Yes.
As for Mwakwata, had not been the fact that he's an old man, I would have said that we should go and charge him for causing financial loss and let him account to the country.
If he's old, he still has
The decision to close down those tolls in the name of e-levy was a non-starter in the first place. Those tolls, even if it was just 70 million, it did something.
It did something, yeah.
It did something. Now the state of our road sector is there. This is the truth. The people don't want to hear the challenges. They want to hear solutions. And they want to see those solutions manifested. The difference between NPP and NDC, and this His Excellency John Dramani Mahama administration must prove and enforce it, that the difference between NPP and NDC is that the NPP was just a bunch of talkers, but the NPP manifests the things on the ground for people to see. And that is a culture that we must sustain moving forward.
Right, I'll do a few messages, then would come back to discuss our next topic. Good morning, Afeto Alormasor and your panelists. I'm Efo Kojo Peter from Machimota here in Accra, and per the topic under discussion, I vividly remember back then when Honorable Lamakwata was on almost all the airwaves touting the so-called massive road infrastructure in this coast of gold called Ghana, seconded by his boss Nanado. In fact, bless me, we never have the type of Nanado in our politics in Ghana again, so help us God. Regards to the people of Kwando in the Volta region. Amos from Asimfosu says, Bless. Some individuals in the country want to destroy the peace we are enjoying as a nation. The EC officials led by Madam Jane Adokwe-Mensah, I don't think far. I don't ever see. Ever since the general elections, some constituencies results are still in limbo. It's only Jane Mensah's administration where things as such are happening. God being so good, if the margin of the presidential election results were close, Jane Mensah and her team would have changed the verdict to favor the NPP. Good morning, Bless. My regards to you, Gabriela and Auntie Rhoda. Tell Gabriela I need a contact. Wisdom from Hope. Send this one. Good morning to you, traditional man, and your wonderful guest. My name is Achonga Timothy from Tazika in Chianapaga. Yes, you are right. Chianapaga is in Upper East region. Permit me to salute the road minister designate through your media, and please be a voice for us in Chianapaga. For our roads, we have nothing to talk about. You have to park your motorcycle and walk across a collapsed bridge. All teachers and nurses have been doing this for the last 3 years now. So you see, Chianapaga, I was there in August. That's
a money for best friends constituency.
No. That is that should be Sisala East. His constituency is Sisala East, and that's in the Upper West region. This is Chiana. That's his name.
That's his name.
Yeah, but this one is a constituency. Chianapaga in the Upper East region. Terrible road. It is my fervent hope that government pays attention to it. I'll do some more messages.
They also need to speak out.
Yeah.
They need to do a lot of lobbying and advocacy. Not just sit there and expect.
The road is bad.
Because everybody's road is bad. Everybody's road is bad.
So you asked the question. So all that time that they were telling us year of roads.
They were doing it from their junctions to, actually the roads were done for their own people, to their homes.
Yeah, that's true.
No, actually the monies were spent to do roads for their homes. Wherever they had projects.
And some regions where the asphalt is as thick as this,
it's to their homes.
Resources,
It's to their homes.
So nobody points to their mother's house with their left hand, and so.
They were doing it to their businesses and their homes. So that was the year of roads.
Good morning, sir. Yes, contractors are doing shoddy work due to corruption at the highest level. Contracts are no longer awarded on merit but on political affiliation. So there are consequences or quality assurance by government officials. Okay, Ken Williams sent this one. Thank you, Ken Williams. Good morning. I hope you're fine. Good morning, Bless. President Koku took governance as an argument in court until the frog fell into hot water. Okay, George Indebugri sent this one from what? Thank you, George, for your message. Okay, this one here also says that my name is Gomez from Tamale. Good morning, Bless, and your able panelists. Honorable Haruna Idrisu's outstanding leadership, knowledge, and character have garnered respect and admiration from the vetting committee and Dagbon chiefs. As a mentor and role model, his achievements demonstrate that determination can lead to greatness, inspiring the notion that anyone, regardless of their humble beginnings, can rise to prominence. I firmly believe that Haruna Idrisu possesses the expertise and vision to navigate the education sector through its current challenges. Okay, thank you very much.
Should be able to.
Good morning, Pan-African TV and your panelists. Can you please educate me on the issue of immunity of the president for at least 3 years? Does this include his family members, example, his wife and children? If no, then Oral should visit the president family. Mr. Theater in Kumasi. Okay. Musa Abato in Asawasu says, Honorable Haruna Idrisu's response, particularly his assurance that first-year students who have paid admission fees will be refunded. This commitment aligns seamlessly with the promises made by President Mahama, reflecting the government that prioritizes welfare of its people. Such actions not only inspire confidence, but also demonstrate a genuine resolve to address the concerns of citizens. President Mahama must succeed. Okay, hashtag. You sent that one, Musa Abatwa from Asawase. Thank you. I respectfully disagree with Ms. Ayana's assertion that road contractors are solely to blame for the high cost and poor quality of road construction in Ghana. While there may be cases of substandard work, the route cause of these inefficiencies lies primarily in deep-seated corruption within the public procurement process. I think we've spoken about that.
But then at the end of the day, the contractor, if you've been given a contract, the money is paid into your account. You're supposed to use that money to do the road. So if a politician is demanding for it, you must be able to tell the politician that.
It is
yes, it's a collaborative thing.
Okay, it's a collaborative corruption.
The contractors are equally to blame. We cannot just say it's a politician.
Why did you say only politician?
You know, there was this video
that was making the rounds ahead of the election. I wanted to share it.
Even in it.
I wanted to share it, but I realized that if I share that video, it may turn out into something else. So I kept it to myself. There was this contractor somewhere in East Africa who went for a road contract. And then he went showing all the contracts and everything to President took his share, Vice President took his share, Minister took his share, DC took their share, the officer in charge of roads took their share. By the time he finished sharing all the money, he had only one bundle of money left. He went to stand at the construction site, just drew something.
Yeah, I've seen that video. I've seen that video.
Cut his own sword.
I've seen that video. And when you see the artistic impression of the road,
it's funny, huh?
And what?
Well, there's been a situation in this country where somebody went and did a job, a culvert, so well that apparently the district chief executive said, "I'm never going to give you any contract anymore." We ain't saying that yet, correct? Yeah, that may never say that. Yes, there's so many things that happen.
And Akufado's administration. And
Dr. Felix Larry Esilfi goes on to say that key issues undermining roads, construction, quality and cost, procurement, corruption and nepotism. Many road contracts are awarded not based on merit, but due to political connections and corrupt dealings. Unqualified contractors often win bids because procurement officials prioritize personal gains over national interest. He talked about kickbacks and financial leakages and weak oversight and accountability, and also Dr. Felix Larry, who is the executive director of IDR, by the way, he appears on this show as well. He said his thoughts and he begged to differ on.
Yeah, he begs to differ. And I just want to ask him, when people are even doing roads, do they have enough personnel to go testing the soils? Soil testing for roads.
Yeah.
Do they do it?
Yeah.
You understand? How many do they have?
Some feasibility studies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, they've been
personnel to do those things.
When Mr. Domelevo was Auditor General, he set up a team which he was heading himself to audit road contracts, and they had this equipment. I remember very well because I saw their first outing on TV. They had this equipment that's able to penetrate the road. It pulls out a sample of the whole road construct, so you can see how much bitumen, how many
the thickness and everything,
and it matches to what the contract specification was. Oh, within 1 month, the man was gone.
Exactly. Because they don't want the truth, and this is done in collaboration with the contractor.
And I never heard about that auditing again.
You understand?
After he left office.
So as for the roads, there are some people who just wake up. You don't know anything about roads. You don't know anything about engineering, and then you end up saying, "I'm a road contractor." Just because somebody says, go and set up a company, and then they give you a contract. You understand? Then you go and stand there and bring people, and you just go and do things. I am telling you, I know a friend who did a job, and no one came to test. Even when he was insisting, come and look. You understand? So at the end of the day, we have roads that are sinking. Why? Because of the soil. You have gravel, you have clay, you have all sorts of things, and you must certify and make sure that the person puts the right things in there, the right aggregate. But you don't. And you sit there, and the contractors to know, because all these things means it costs them more money. If it's clay, you need to pump in more, so they don't. You understand? So the contractors are the ones we will hold responsible, and we will start naming roads by their names, so that when the roads are bad, we will know who to attack.
Well, please bless. Kindly make time and pass through Wenchi, Bamboy, Bole, Solar to Wa Road. You will see what they call one village, one dam on these roads. It's really, really terrible. Moniro from Wa. That one to I think I've used the road from Wa to Tamale before. It was bad. And also from Wa to Tumu. Hey! Another terrible, very terrible, very bad road.
You might meet a snake.
I'm telling you.
Big python crossing.
And the road is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah, campaigning, you just go in there and you run out. Yeah, it's bad.
It's terrible. So from
very bad
from
No, actually, the armed robbers prioritize
yeah, because you don't drive fast.
You slow down.
In the road I mentioned in Central Region, for the Winneba to Swede Road, if they were to fix that road, that thing would just be a 15 minutes drive.
Oh yeah.
But because the road is bad, you can be there an hour, and that is where a lot of the armed robbery takes place.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So from Wa to Tumu, terrible. From Tumu to Golu, another bad road. I'm hoping that this government, this new government,
let's talk about roads that are done, and when it rains, they are unmatchable.
Yes.
Let's talk about those roads with the flooding.
Yeah.
Spanner Junction, for instance. Just talk about that.
Yeah.
And who are you to blame?
Yeah.
Are you going to blame the politician? Isn't it the contractor?
Spanner Junction, it is the assembly. Those who allowed those high-rise, expensive apartments at that
reclaimed lands and stuff.
That stretch, that area, those buildings should not have been allowed in the first place.
So what is the role of the town and country planning? Yeah, because
in all this,
if you are even putting up these buildings, it should meet some specific criteria.
Or if you want to put that building there, you should pay for the drainage. That
exactly.
I'm sure all these things are documented.
Yeah.
Maybe it goes into somebody else's pockets.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
So there's so much, but then we need to just audit all these things and make sure that our contractors and our whatever, they do the right things. The technical people that are supposed to back up will also do the right things, because you cannot have such a beautiful road and no drains, or the little holes that they have. I don't know what they call them, whether they are drain holes or whatever, but you don't do that, and the water stays there, and it's all over the country. It gets flooded.
Villaggio,
the Villaggio place is terrible.
It's a beautiful piece of architecture, but unfortunately it's a problem.
It's a terrible problem.
Good morning, bless. I'm George from Sogakopa. Please let the NDC and the president know that Ghanaians have put their trust in them, but if they mistakenly fail, then there's not going to be democracy in Ghana again. Greet my mothers who are there for me. I love them all. Bravo. Okay, thank you, George. Good morning to the people of Sogakopa. Hi Pan-African TV, you are doing a great job. My problem, why I personally voted for NDCs, are routes from Adansia Sokwa Junction to Obuasi. It's terrible. So we expect the MP elect Honorable, he's no longer MP, he's the MP, he's no longer MP elect, MP Honorable Godwin to fix it for us. James Kluche sent this one. Thank you, James, for your message. Okay. Good morning, Pan-African TV. I'm Mutala, watching you live from Kumbungu in the northern region. Is Kumbungu in the northern region?
Yes.
Kumbungu. Okay. Kumbungu. That is Honorable Hamza. I think Honorable Hamza Adams, constituency. I'm very sad about the Obuasi incident. My condolences to the family. Indeed, I'm very glad about the review of the Constitution, particularly Article 71 of the Constitution, which talks about the salaries and allowances payable. Okay, thank you so much. Right. Let's move on from one minister designate to another, Honorable Haruna Idrisu. When some people, I would say, were jittery about his appointment to the Ministry of Education. Some said that he's been set up to fail and that it could scupper his political ambitions. But the question there too is that if there's a good hand to do a huge task, why not employ that person to do it? I mean, it didn't make any sense to me. If you see that, if you think that the challenges there are so huge that somebody who can surmount that problem should be put there to do it, then it doesn't matter. So because he has political ambitions, we should go and put him.
But every politician has political ambitions.
We should go and put him in a ministry where he wouldn't have to work hard. It doesn't make sense to me. But some of the issues that arose from his vetting are also telling. While he was being vetted, Edward made a tweet. Out of 19 students, or out of 19 children who start school, only 5 of them, only 5 out of 19 children in northern Ghana, that is Upper East, Upper West, Northeast, Savannah, and then the northern region, out of 19, only 5 are able to complete primary school. Out of that 5, only 3 of them proceed to complete JHS. And it's the first time that we are having, or we will be having, a minister for education coming from that part of the country. So of course the issues are there, the issues are huge. We know the issues about free senior high school policy and issues in relation to feeding and all of that. But I'm starting with you, Gabriella. You have always believed that Honorable Haruna Iddrisu is well fit for this job. Expectations are high, but you believe in his acumen and what he brings to the table as a very experienced politician from the National Democratic Congress. But let me take the rest of your thoughts on
yes,
this.
I believe in him, especially for the Ministry of Education, because of his competence. I've seen Honorable Haruna perform in many different roles, as a youth organizer, a national youth organizer, as a minister for trade, as a minister for employment. And I always say that comparatively of all the portfolios that he has held, for me, Gabriella, as a person, I'll always say that Honorable Haruna as a minister for employment was one of our best for NDC. And so when I saw that his name had been penciled down for Ministry for Education, I just gave a clap to His Excellency and the Appointment Committee, and I said, this one, they got it right. And my basic analysis is based on one critical thing, that when you look at the education sector, they have the most unionized groupings, from the kindergarten teachers all the way to tertiary. And if you have a stable educational fund, a lot of it depends on how you are able to manage the human resource within the sector. If there's stability in the educational sector, you are able to now push forward those proposals of improving on free SHS, improving on infrastructure in the basic schools, improving on teacher welfare issues, improving on school feeding, improving on our policy of introducing level 100 free education. So having a stable educational sector is the basis of every policy that will be able to implement. If the unions keep triggering strikes and threats of unstable instability in that sector, how are you going to push all these things forward? The resources that you need to do these things, you have to be pushing it and managing the human resource in the sector. So even though there are a lot of other qualified people who could have been ministers for education, for me, this is the reason why, for me, Honorable Haruna stands out amongst the rest. His competence in that area, second to none. Secondly, he is somebody who is able to engage irrespective of who you are. And that's also one admirable quality that I like about him. He is loved. I'm yet to see somebody who can tell me they don't like Honorable Haruna for so and so reason. I'm yet to meet somebody. I haven't yet. Somebody can try for me to know what is there to be offended by him. So for me, that one also takes the box for me. His competence, does he understand what the NDC wants to do in education? Perfect. Yesterday when he was at the vetting and he was being asked questions about the policies that we were pushing forward, he had the data, he understood the vision of His Excellency John Mahama, he understood the needs of the sector. You could see that he has had conversations behind the scenes with the advocates in education, because you could tell from the quality of his responses and the depth of his answers that he has already started consultation and engagement before coming for the vetting. So for me, Honorable Haruna, His Excellency, this one is perfect. This one is perfect. He's a perfect safe pair of hands for the educational sector. And it's also very important to me because our attempt at having a leader, a female, at the very, very top. It's important that that female has a lot of legs, solid legs, to also hold her up, because that is the reference point for all the other females that will occupy the position of a vice president and even a president. So for Honorable Haruna being the Minister for Education, for Professor Nana Jane being an educationist herself, and having those two people together at the helm of education, I can only say that I'm convinced within myself and my spirit that the educational sector will see the needed reforms that will help our young people and all of us who are going through the educational system.
Right. Auntie Rhoda, it appears that Honorable Haruna Idrisu has his work cut out.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
The issues bedeviling the sector.
I think so. I listened to him yesterday. Congratulations to Honorable Haruna. I think it's a well-deserved position, even though some people thought that he was not cut out for those kinds of places. But I think that that was one of the best places they could have placed him. If you listen to him, he had everything thought out, and I think most people were interested in the reviewing of the senior high school and all that. And I think that he knows exactly what the NDC government would want to do with senior high school. Some of us also would want the NDC not to toe the line of the generality of what people are saying, because at the moment we know that we don't have enough funding, even though the president has promised to find funding for the senior high schools. But we do know that apart from senior high school, there are other places that actually need funding as well. Even if you look at the primary section of education, we've tended to leave them out. Every concentration is on senior high school, and then the primary schools are suffering. So I'm hoping that he will look at those places as well. I'm also hoping that Honorable Haruna will looking at the statistics he gave for the northern region and its school attendance and enrollment. It's a multifaceted region, and different type of ideas come into play. Some are cultural, poverty, lack of infrastructure, and all that. So I'm hoping that during his tenure, we will have another model girls' school. Because if you are to look at the statistics, a lot of the girls fall out to get into marriages and all that, because people are willing to, families up north are willing to educate the male child in place of the female child. So if we could have a good girls' school, we have Bolga Girls Senior High School, but that is just the one that we have. We need another model, science-based girls' secondary school in the Upper East region, for instance. And I think that we have one that the NPP presented one, that in Tamale Girls School, which was built in line up. I think it just looked like Wesley Girls by Alima when she was education minister or something. So I'm looking at Haruna also giving the Upper East region a girls' senior high school, science-based secondary school. I think that the position that Haruna holds now is one that is for him a good starting point for whatever political ambition he has. Because when you start to deal with education, you're dealing with tertiary education, you're dealing with senior high school, you're dealing with nursing training colleges, every form of education in this country, with all its human resource factors, you are in charge. So you must be able to know. And I know that he has a very good human relations with everybody. He's very nice, he's very friendly. From looking at what happened yesterday, he could play around with the other side, the minority. They were happy with him, and just like the majority. And if you know his constituency, you realize that his people are so proud of him. Just like every other Ghanaian or every other northern person is proud of Haruna. So we are expecting that Haruna will actually deliver, and I don't have any qualms at all that he is in the right place, and he will, no matter what, succeed in this field, because he must succeed, because he's done it before. He's an all-rounder. You cannot fault him. But when we come to this free senior high school, I think that in the reviewing of this system, we should take a very good look at the boarding system, if it's really something we want to go along with. Because I think that deboardingization might be the key to quality education for all. If the e-blocks are going to be put up, more e-blocks for day schools, and probably give them free education, one hot meal for the day schools. All of it is to help the parents, and that should be enough. There's no point saying that you're giving people a boarding education that will cripple the rest of their sectors in the economy. So we must look at a way of deboardingizing, pay for those who can afford to pay, and then also allowing for parents to choose whether they want to pay or they want to go to day schools. That should be somewhere that we should, something that we should be looking at. So
right.
I think Haruna will do well. I wish him well.
Right.
Yes.
It's 9:30. I'll continue with some more messages that we have received, and we'll proceed to discuss what will be our final topic. Bless, if the NPP has a problem with oral and sack CEOs as Aprenyo Markin is alleging, they can go to court. Are they afraid of the courts now? NPP never again. Stephen from Kwabena. Thank you, Stephen. Congratulations to Professor Nanama Kluche, the appointed CEO of Environmental Protection Agency. I respectfully suggest that Prof pulls off a workshop program to a halt by God willing. Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying, but I think the way you've put your words together, it is wrong. She can't pull off a workshop program to a halt. It means you should actually have a workshop program. Yes. Okay. I like Professor Nanama Brown Kluche very much. I think she's. I don't know if her latest appointment relieves her of that position as the head of the physics. Environmental Protection Agency.
No, but that's a perfect position for her as well. Because of her background in climate
exactly.
issues, and one of the sustainable goals is to improve on the environment, and issues of climate change are very topical in international discussions, and even for us here.
She represents Ghana at the UN.
She's a vice chair.
I think the president has been very focused in his appointment. Yes, he's been very deliberate on particular places, and I'm hoping that they won't let him down.
Right. Congratulations once again to Professor Nanama Brown Kluche, one of the people I admire so much. She knows about that. Good morning, Pan African TV. Please, another bad road is here to Alormasor Road and Bolga to Tumu Road. Too bad, with a lot of armed robbery going on there. John Mahama and his appointees have the gravitas and acumen to steer the affairs of the state, but they must demonstrate dedication and concentration on grassroots development, particularly empowering branch executives and polling agents who've valiantly and gallantly protected the ballot boxes. Securing this monumental victory in the scheme of things in partisan politics, recognition and reward is a sine qua non. Any nascent attempt by these appointees to belittle the diligent and vigilant efforts of branch executives and the polling agents would have a very far-reaching calamitous consequence for internal party politics and politicking. Ernest Evalav Kwashi, he came with the English. Ernest came with the English, with the grammar this morning. Thank you so much, one of our dedicated viewers. Ernest, thank you so much for your message. Edward Dubaza says, it appears oral is focusing too much on acquired lands. There are a lot of dollars and euros hidden under people's beds and polytanks. Ghana Hinska Koku from La Paz. Thank you.
You should direct oral where the money is in which polytank, so they'll go for that. Please help oral. It's more than just sending text messages on TV. Show us which water tank, so they can go and
Ken Williams is back. He said, good morning. Contractors do shoddy work due to corruption at the high places. Contractors are no more awarded on merit but on political affiliation. So there are no consequences for poor work, no supervision or quality assurance by state officials after taking their share. It's even worse with the local contractors who are more of politicians with no expertise. We have a newly tarred road in Ketu South which developed potholes a week after construction. We need a reset in the road sector by punishing deviant contractors to serve as deterrent to others. Ken Williams, thank you for a message. I'll read some two more. Good morning, bless. I'm looking forward to seeing Bunkpurugu Nalerigo constructed and the Eastern Corridor. My eyes are on that road. Good morning once again to your beautiful panelists. Yes, thank you.
Bless, is it only roads? How about the
everybody's
schools,
concerned about the roads.
doors.
Yeah.
You know, you go to places, the tiles just get broken even before the.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many shoddy work going on.
So many of them.
So many everywhere. It's just shoddy. People just take money for nothing.
Right, I'll read this last one, then we proceed to our next topic. Good morning, Bless. I'm happy to hear that the road tolls are coming back. I think the toll prices should be adjusted upwards, and also the adjustment should affect the type of vehicles plying the road, especially for the haulage trucks. Mariam from Bawi. I perfectly do agree with Mariam on this. I mean, I don't see why a truck carrying load worth several thousands of cedis, like say around 200,000, 300,000 cedis worth of goods being carried, and then you pay tolls of 2 cedis, 3 cedis. It doesn't make sense. Even 50 cedis, I think is okay. 50 cedis, you are using.
Are you paying for the vehicle being using the road, or you're paying for the? I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, but so
do they normally charge according to? What I thought that.
I think it's the type of vehicle, but these vehicles are used for business.
Because if
they are commercial vehicles, and not just they are not even commercial. If I say commercial, trotro is commercial, but this one, you are carrying onions from Niger. It's worth several.
But you know, they are fixed
thousands.
Rates. They always have fixed rates,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So assuming that there's an articulator going empty, you're actually charging the person that.
You are going empty to do business. You are not just going empty. You are going empty to bring something.
We are not giving them the idea that those rates should be two. Either you're empty or you're loaded.
Okay.
You understand? Because for now, it's just articulator.
It makes sense.
Yes, it's just articulator. Yeah. So now it should be loaded articulator or empty articulator. Loaded bus or full bus.
Right.
So that you can get the two.
I am particularly happy about the digitized collection of road tolls.
And we should try and do that for everywhere.
And according to the roads minister designate, we are not going to be seeing the toll booths on the roads anymore with that congestion. I'm looking forward to see how they will go about it with regards to the digitization, whether you get a card and then I don't know how it's going to work.
I guess it might be like the way the airport system
works. Okay, you swipe and go.
Swipe and go. Okay. Probably buy. Can buy.
I'm hoping that it works.
I hope so too.
So that you go and stand there and then.
When I got to the airport a few days ago, I was told like, oh, you can use the baromia. And I said, please, I don't want to get stuck. Let me go through here. Right. I can't be sure, And everybody started laughing. So you're right. You know what's going to happen is that if we are not careful, this thing will work for a day, and then the owners will come and remove things. That's our problem.
I'm just hoping that it works.
Because this is a country where even road railings are taken off at night. And you ask, can't we even watch over road railings?
I'm looking forward to the technology, the kind of technology that's going to go into it. Because if you look, the vice president, former vice president of this country, was at the airport.
And it wasn't working.
Brand new. This was brand new, and it wasn't working.
I said, I'm not going. Even he got stuck.
I'm just hoping that, it works. I'm just hoping.
I think other companies tried a clocking system, which we should actually, for this 24-hour economy, we need to put clocking systems everywhere. Is it going to work?
Yeah.
We just hope that it will work.
We hope so.
Because we don't have a clocking system, how are you going to do this 24-hour economy?
Right. What would be our final topic for conversation? President Mahama makes new appointments to the presidency. I see some faces here. They are no strangers to the NDC. Joyce Moktari is presidential advisor and special aide to the president. Stanislas Hwese Dogbe is the deputy chief of staff operations. And Nana Oye Bampuado is the deputy chief of staff administration. Seth Emmanuel Tekbe, former finance minister, is presidential advisor on the economy. And then Professor Francis Dodo is presidential advisor, National Anti-Corruption Program. Professor Koku Dansobuafo is cabinet secretary. Shamima Muslim, deputy presidential spokesperson. Beatrice Ananfio is a presidential staffer, and
Nanaya
Jantua is
yes,
also a
I was so excited.
staffer, and Colonel Larry Bevlo-Latte is special envoy to the Alliance of Sahelian States.
That is where?
That is
to address issues of terrorism.
That is especially when a few months or a few years ago, about a year and a half ago, we have a president who went to the United States and told Anthony Blinken that this is what's happening. What's happening in Burkina Faso? I mean, that was a diplomatic gaffe.
A complete
and it kind of besmirched that sort of relationship that we have. I'm happy that relationship is being repaired. I mean, especially for the fact that these people are just surrounding us. But Auntie, these appointments.
I'm excited over all of them.
Right.
Over Beatrice, congratulations to Beatrice, Shamima, Nanaya, and all the other ones. Joyce, those are the. I mean, we should see more women, and I'm so excited when I hear all these names coming up. They are all competent. Women in their own rights, in their own professions.
So this one is 50-50.
Yeah, it's correct.
Five women, five men.
I mean, I kudos to President Mahama. So far, I have been following, and if it's either 60-40, and this one is like 5-5, it's fantastic. I think he's on the right track. And I was excited when I saw Bevlo Latte's appointment as well, because it came as it's a novel idea. If you come to think of it, it's not under foreign affairs or anything, but this is a specific Sahel that's a breakaway from ECOWAS, and you can just tell from the president's first visits that he's visited and he's tried as much as possible to mend and to
some of these leaders were here.
Yes, and some of them were here, and it just shows you that he is very much interested in the African affair. So I'm really excited that at least we have something that will still keep our brothers from Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso amongst us. And looking at the Chief of Staff's office with Nana Oye Bampu there, I think she's fantastic. I thought she was going to go to the Gender Ministry again. And so I'm excited that she's at least in the presidency. Standogbe, I don't know much, but I've heard.
Operations. That's what operations. So,
but I didn't see the inauguration, but I was told that he did such a fantastic job, and for if anyone is excellent in doing such things, why not? I think it's okay. As for the rest of the group, plus Tekbe and Dr. Francis Dodo, is it Professor Francis Dodo? Yeah, these are people that we've all known for a while, we've met, we've listened to, and I think that, like I said, President Mahama is being very strategic and very deliberate in his appointments, which is very good to know. Unlike the previous government that anybody had told, somebody said, they didn't even understand our system. They came from overseas and they didn't understand our system.
The monkeys worked and everybody shocked.
And therefore, we had to pay some of them for clothing allowance and all sorts of allowances. So I'm glad that we are putting things right, and I'm hoping, and I'm really hoping that we'll all deliver, that more women will come in. More
I'm
women.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot more women. When I was coming, I was like mentioning them. I get so excited because NDC seems to have a lot of, I don't want to hear we don't have the women.
No, they do.
Because NDC has, fantastic women. People with rich curriculums and things. And it's good. It's good. I'm excited.
I'm also very excited.
very
and
excited.
I'm
I
looking
think-
forward to more women,
Yeah.
more female participation in the government. In the government
and in the right places.
I know. Hopefully, the next batch of appointments, I'm looking forward to Honorable Zaneto Rollins. I'm looking forward to Madame Gisela Tete.
Yeah.
Perhaps,
because they've all worked hard.
roads and highways, or
Obobia.
works and housing. Oh, we have roads and highways. I know it. Roads and highways or works and housing.
No, roads and highways is Abuja.
There's so many. I mean,
We just discussed Abuja for roads and highways.
Perhaps deputy or something. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think that Mahama is going to.
I know we have deputies. Yes.
I don't think it's going to have a lot of deputies.
No, but for every ministry there's going to be a deputy.
At least
But
one.
I think there aren't going to be deputies for the regional ministers.
Yeah, okay.
For the regional
In fact,
ministers,
I thought he wasn't even going to fill any regional ministers because
if you look at the 23
directors.
ministers, so 23 deputies, that makes it
46.
46.
Yes, I thought he wasn't going to have.
And we are doing
regional
60.
ministers.
Yeah,
Yeah, 60.
So
It's very
14.
tight. It's very tight.
It's very tight.
It's very tight, and that's why I was wondering
very
why
tight.
he had
Some
the
ministry
regional ministers.
May not.
will not get
Yes, about 2-3 ministries may not have deputies,
And with the deputy should be just for a few.
where the workload
Like-
isn't too huge.
Yeah, like
A place
like finance
will need a
education,
deputy.
Foreign affairs
education. We
should
must
not
have.
need a deputy. I don't think so.
Foreign affairs.
can do the deputy because the principal travels a lot.
Okay.
The director
Well.
should do. We should use our embassies too. I mean, this is the time for us to use people. You should use the embassies.
Yeah.
You can't go, putting people in places and not using them. So Ghana is going to a conference and you pack everybody. Meanwhile, you
The
have
appointments are tight.
I mean,
People
yeah,
are
the
asking.
appointments are tight. So
People are asking where Okujetu Ablakwa will be.
Likely to be foreign
Foreign
affairs.
minister.
likely to be foreign minister.
affairs,
One
yeah.
deserve also. I mean, he's done a lot of work.
Yeah.
He's tried to keep up. And so if you look at the whole thing, it's like everyone has been on their toes for a particular something. And I'm very sure that he's going to appreciate everybody
Right.
and give them something. So for the NDC out there who are jittery and wondering what is happening, when it's my turn, when it's my please, he has over 6,000 places to fix people. And he will do the right thing. So just give him some time. Yeah, you should give him some time to think through because it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah,
Right.
and especially now because this was a Ghanaian election.
Yeah.
Someone was telling me, said, "Na churches for na omina bebo no be omden." You see, there's so many different angles to it. So just be patient with JDM. He's going to deliver for everybody.
Right. Gabriela,
Well, this
you were not happy about one out of the 17. This one,
Who's that one?
I don't know.
I've not been following that one.
Your minister.
My original minister.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Why? He's not doing well.
we all don't have to agree all the time.
Exactly. I mean,
And in any case, my criticism was not born on the fact that I didn't say he was incompetent, as people are speculating. My argument was based on the one principle that at a time when in the region we had a change of leadership and he led, I did not like how the front of the party was split. We were going into an election.
yeah.
And as a matter of principle, all right, my belief is that when you are going into anything and you are a team, unity is key. It's principle. You can't go into anything discord.
That's true.
So that for me was the principle. But since that issue, he and I spoke. I told him what my concerns were, and he said he will look at it. Party elders in the region also listened to my position on the matter, and they agreed that they were going to have a forum, because at the end of the day, he's the one that the president has chosen, and my job as a communication officer is to make sure that whatever the government is doing, my people are there to defend it. You understand? So we'll just have to find a way of working around it. But this new list, I was playing lotto with some of the appointments, but my apple no drop.
Okay.
I was looking forward to Joyce in transport. In fact, I was in the
okay.
background,
Oh,
busy
okay.
pushing transport. You should go to transport. I missed out on my lotto. Thank God, these your betting companies don't bet on things like this.
You have lost
I
miserably.
have lost miserably. I was betting on. I know you're going to the Vice President office as an advisor on gender.
Yeah, that one sounds good.
That her there to support Professor Nanaje. You know, I'm so a year on Professor Nanaje succeeding that. I sit at the back and I do my own appointment in my head. Who will help her?
She has to succeed for us.
I was gunning in my head for her to go to that office as an advisor on gender to support. That His Excellency needs her in other areas. Stan in operations. Stan has done very well in keeping the brand JM active since 2016, even prior to 2016. I think that since 2009 that he moved to work with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Stan has done very, very well with the branding part of the politics. And one thing about Stan also, he's a very hardworking person. He knows what he's about, and he's on top of his game when it comes to things on marketing, political branding. If you give something to Stan, one thing for me is that in every constituency where His Excellency visited, and you saw Wezo TV go live, there was a Standogbe on the ground, making sure that the satellite link was active, making sure that the setting, the decor, the stage, where the podium should stand, which angle cameras should pick. I mean, he's so particular about those things. He's on top of his craft when it comes to things like that. And he's been around HE, as I mentioned, for almost like 17, 18 years. That his HE has been relevant as vice president and as president. So he now moving into the position of a chief of staff operations, I think that he has earned the right to be there. Nobody can say anything about that appointment. Commander Bevlolate, another fantastic one. And I think HE is being strategic with this appointment, especially because the countries that you are now moving to try and pull back into the ECOWAS and to rebuild these relationships with are all being headed by military people. And the caliber of person, envoy, that you send to these gentlemen has to be somebody who has weight in military circles. And so for me, Commander taking up this appointment, another perfect master stroke by John Mahama. And mind you, these young people who are now in these positions, they are there because their people want them there. Unlike our previous leaders who thought that they could go and send troops and go and determine the fate of countries. This, our president currently, is using a different approach, and he's using diplomacy, because he understands that the will of the people is what is keeping those leaders where they are. And he also understands that those leaders are there because between the civilian leadership and the military leadership, there's a peculiar challenge in those countries, which is a terrorism issue. And that is why all those three countries had to take military leaders to protect themselves. It's just what's the expression? It's an organic feature, okay, that has been created out of the geopolitics in that area. And so having somebody like Commander Bevlolate take up this role, Jeje. Who else?
Beatrice Annan?
Beatrice is okay. Shamima. You know, now we don't have a ministry for information. So Felix is acting, or he's going to take the role of a minister for information, and then Shamima now as deputy information, but at the presidency, even though they'll be communicating for the entire administration. And Shamima, she speaks well, she's eloquent, she's intelligent. Even though she's relatively new on the political front, in terms of her background in journalism and the general role of what a deputy spokesperson would be, I think that she fits the bill. As for NDC and women, we have 270 what constituencies?
76.
And every constituency has a woman organizer and a deputy. That alone times that 2 means the women are there.
Oh, yes.
And we have a lot of women who hold, they are professionals. Some of them are teachers. We have business people in those positions as women organizers. They have masters, some of them 2 masters, 3 masters. We have nurses, all kinds of professionals as women organizers. So when it comes to issues of to the gender issue, we are not like LPP who would come and tell you the women are not showing enough dynamism. That one, no. NDC doesn't suffer from that disease. We have women who have been in the background working for many years. Top-notch women, quality women, professional women. The list is endless. And I look forward to more of them also taking up leadership role and coming to contribute. Because at the end of the day, even the last election, when you look at the number of females we managed to get into parliament, it's impressive. Compare the NDC's numbers to NPP's numbers currently. We're able to get more females in parliament now. NPP unfortunately lost many of their females. Just a few of them survived the last election. So that tells you that there's a difference how NDC nurtures the females and how NPP respects and nurtures the females in our politics. That's why all correct-minded people should be joining NDC and forget NPP. NPP, I don't know what people see in NPP.
All right, thank you very much. We have some 5 minutes more. I'll use that to read messages. Good morning, Bless. Surely road work is one means by which a lot of taxpayers' money gets wasted. One of the ways to fight it is use psychological warfare. What I mean is that for any piece of road constructed, there should be a signboard at both ends of the road containing the details of the company, including the names and contacts of the contractors and engineers.
That's what they do.
The year of completion, number of years that the road is supposed to last. In this way, those who do good work will attract public admiration, whilst those who do shoddy work will be subjects of public ridicule. That is to say, road contractors will be compelled to choose between reputation and undeserved profit. Dr. Gabriel Day Yebwa from Wamfie. Thank you, Doc, for your message. I'll do some more. Good morning, Bless. Ghana is very lucky to have His Excellency JDM. He really means a reset business, and may God guide him with wisdom to be able to continue his good work. Suglo K. Ibrahim from Loho, Nadoli Kalio constituency. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Host. Please, I'm Reverend Justice Samuel Yakubu, watching you live from Tumu. Kindly tell Honorable Gabriela that I need her contact. She should text her WhatsApp number to me. All right. It says, God bless you for all your good work. Okay, thank you. Good morning, Bless. Frankly speaking, Madam Gabriela is one of the NDC communicators I love most. Very intelligent, fluent, hardworking, frank, and just to mention a few. She needs to be rewarded by being appointed immediately. That's a fact. I'm Jonathan Kofi Azubila from Bongo in the Upper East region. His Excellency John Mahama, don't forget about this hardworking lady. Lest I forget Zaneto Rollins, Shamima Muslim, and others. Okay, right.
Zaneto for health? Is it true, or is just one of those stories they throw out?
Health? She's a medical doctor by profession, and so. But there are some others there too. I mean,
all sorts of information.
No, but if you look at the appointments very well, he's making appointments based on the people's strength.
Yes.
You see,
yes.
That is key in the appointment.
Yes.
He's not putting square pegs in round holes. He's looking at the person's competence and strength for the role.
Right.
Because he only has 4 years.
Yeah.
And that 4 years must determine our future in 2028. So he can't just be doing cha-cha.
No,
it is. There's a science behind what is going on.
Right. Bless President Mohammed's ministerial appointments are praiseworthy and evoke optimism for Ghana's resurgence and revitalization. I'm very enthused seeing many more winsome women of substance and valor on the list. It is imperative that these appointees live up to the billing and work diligently to improve the socio-economic circumstances of the ordinary Ghanaian people who are struggling with hardship and impoverishment. We remain hopeful that these appointments will lead to positive outcomes that benefit the people of Ghana, more especially the teeming youth who are without decent and dignifying jobs. Right, my time is up. I need to run. I want to thank you, especially our viewers, for having our time. We are extremely grateful that you take time off your busy schedule every day to watch us. Thank you so much. And to my guests, Madam Rodelina Ayana, and then of course Gabriela Tete, thank you so much for doing this with me. I have issues to address with Haja Hamdatu. I'll try and address them. Hopefully next week she'll be back on the set. Until then, do have a pleasant morning. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, well, I don't know, but I hope so. I'll see you tomorrow. Do have a pleasant morning. Bye-bye.